Hello, my name is George Saldani. I'm the founder of Texas Team 2503, Interference with Child Custody. And I'm bringing this video to you today because I want you to share it. I want you to share it so bad. You know why? Because it's educational. Two, it shows that it's educational to the public. Two, it shows how uneducated law enforcement is, especially the El Paso County Sheriff's Department. You have orders that are signed by a judge. The judge has already told you what the rules are. It's a judge's signature. It's a court order. You will see in this video how El Paso Sheriff's Department will get out of doing work by trying to convince this sole managing conservator grandmother that she has no rights to the child. She has every piece of paperwork, and they honor an attorney's paperwork over hers. And grandma has sole custody. That's the horrible part, is that they will help anybody else but the person with sole managing conservatorship. It's 16 minutes worth of filth, flying filth. Not only that, at the end, they say go back to court and let the judge sort it out. She has custody orders, sole managing conservator, signed by a judge. Why are you sending her back? Oh my God, it's so ridiculous. You have to share it. This should be a wake-up call to the public, anybody divorced, anybody with court orders, that law enforcement does not know how to enforce these orders, period. Please share this video and check out the next 16 minutes of filth, flying filth.
Does anybody else have orders for the child?
What do you mean?
Does anybody else have orders for custodial rights to the child besides myself?
Well, no, but she's had the
No.
child since
Okay, so
she was
no.
5 days old.
Because she took the child.
Received the call from the El Paso sheriff this afternoon. I asked them to hold off so I can come to court. I explained to them that there's a Rule 11 agreement that we will not execute the writ.
A Rule 11 agreement. This Rule 11 agreement they're talking about is an agreement that was filed with the court. Except Grandma didn't sign off on it. Grandma really didn't even know what was going on. Her attorney just went into a contract agreement with the other attorney. So while Grandma's thinking that she's getting a writ of attachment, these attorneys are making backdoor deals just to prolong litigation, to make litigation go on longer. Because if they would enforce this writ, the child would be back with grandmother, and that would be the end of all of this fighting. But instead, they made a Rule 11 just to prolong everything. It sucks when you can't even trust your own attorney.
This case is set.
Oh, hold on. Listen to what she just said. She says that she told law enforcement to hold off on the writ. This attorney has just interfered with a legal process. She just told law enforcement not to enforce the writ. Some attorney that hasn't even intervened into the case yet just told law enforcement not to enforce the writ. Now she's talking for the judge. The judge has already enforced the writ. The judge has already ordered and commanded this sheriff and constable to take the child. And this attorney overstepped her boundaries, overstepped the judge, and says, don't enforce that writ. I'm telling you, it's crazy. This attorney, Mazahari, told the sheriff's department to hold off on the writ. If that's not interfering with the legal process, what? She's not a judge, she's an attorney. While she can zealously fight for her client's rights, she still must be within the bounds of the law. And for her, when she found out that the writ was going to be executed today, she talked to the sheriff's department, told them not to do it, and scheduled an emergency hearing within 20 minutes. Check it out.
I found your child. The child is not missing. I have the child. It's with me right now.
Yes.
There was a court hearing that you were obviously part of right now.
So let me ask you something. Why would you call, instead of calling me the custodial parent, you would call who?
What happened is that she had all kinds of paperwork from her attorneys, from the court, other documents that were they weren't jiving together. So I need to figure out with Bear County, because apparently Bear County doesn't know what they're doing with all their paperwork.
Bear County,
Supposedly
I don't think it's Bear County at this point. I mean, I have
Supposedly
custodial rights. I should
supposedly
have
they had two
custodial.
different case numbers, and all, so. And then they told me that your attorney, well, I talked to your attorney, she says, no, I need to, get out of this thing.
That's all
Okay.
civil.
Yeah, it is all civil, but I need to come and verify everything. I can't.
And I
just-
understand that,
okay?
but my custody papers say that any orders prior to
So-
this are no longer valid. I have a sole managing conservator, so I should be able to pick up my
So-
daughter and go.
I have your daughter here, but the writ of attachment was dissolved. They dissolved it. It's no good.
Okay, so
He says, but the writ of attachment is not good. Well, it was good when she gave it to you and when you had the child, and instead of listening to the judge's order that was on the writ of attachment, you listened to an attorney. You let her intervene in a judicial order commanding you to take that child. So it was good.
So why did you hold off on calling me?
I wanted to figure out what they were going to do first because I need to separate the paperwork.
Okay, so
and
what
find out
then
what's
I
going
need to
on.
do is I need to file an offense report,
You need to find out what? Okay.
for child custody, for interference with child custody. I'd like to file one on Mazahari, and I'd also like to file one on you.
You can go to Internal Affairs, which is down. You come out of this door and you go to that door on the next side. You can file with Internal Affairs whatever gripes you have.
Okay?
Okay.
Because as I stated, my custody papers show I have legal custody, not
yes.
anybody else.
Of course.
So I don't understand why.
That can happen. There's plenty of paperwork I have plenty of paperwork that say that. But
Where are her paperwork that says that she has custody? Where are her paperwork that says that she has custody?
We working.
Yeah. Let's see her paperwork. Does she have any paperwork that says she has custody? So you just disregarded the sole managing conservatorship paperwork. You just disregarded the writ of attachment. And now they ask you if she has any paperwork. She has no paperwork. And you're still letting her take the child.
We working out of court orders, okay? The stuff that's coming out of this case was confusing. There was several paperwork, several documents that had different case numbers. I had to speak with the attorneys to find out what was going on because she said that she did have a paper that you guys were supposed to be in court on Wednesday.
Yeah, for intervening. This
Okay.
case has been closed. This custody place
So-
has been closed.
It's open. And
It's not open.
They didn't close it. You do have court on Wednesday.
That's for an intervention or trying to intervene with a case that's already been closed.
And the judge told you. I heard her myself. And the judge told you. I heard her myself. She told you, look, Wednesday is the
Yes,
day.
I understand Wednesday, but this case is closed. I have custody rights. It doesn't make any sense why I can't get my child.
Because the writ of attachment is.
We don't need to execute the writ. At this point, you have my child.
Yeah, the writ of
And now
attachment.
you're interfering with me getting custody.
the writ of attachment
You're
is
interfering with
dissolved.
the,
They
yes,
have custody.
against the Penal Code 25.03. You're interfering right now. Getting custody of my
They have custody
child.
right now of the child until Wednesday is when you'll learn what's going to happen.
Like I said,
They have custody of the child right now, and Wednesday you'll determine what happens. They have custody of the child. They can't, does this man, is he listening to, does he comprehend the garbage that's coming out of his mouth? He just said there's no order, and now he's saying they have custody of the child until Wednesday. Well, fast forward, right? Wednesday's hearing was reset. And you'll hear later on in the video, after Wednesday, file another writ of attachment and come back and we'll enforce it. Do you know how much a writ of attachment costs? Starting off at $3,500, $5,000, $6,000, $8,000, depending on how fast you want it. Oh, just go back to court, get another writ. We're sorry, we didn't enforce it. I can't talk about this issue anymore. I'm gonna let you watch the rest of the video without me intervening, right? But we already talked about it. They won't enforce her custody order, which is stamped, sealed from Bexar County with a judge's signature. They won't enforce the writ, right? She tried to file a missing child's report because she didn't know where the child was located. And as per Code of Criminal Procedure 63.001, the whereabouts are unknown to the legal custodian of the child. That's what the law says. But of course, they didn't want to do that either. And they sure as hell didn't want to do interference with child custody. So right now, El Paso County Sheriff's Department doesn't want to do anything with any kind of child custody issue. No paperwork from the court, not follow Code of Criminal Procedure for a missing child. No wonder so many children go missing in El Paso. No wonder. Parents are looking for them and the Sheriff's Department is telling them, there's nothing we can do. Go to Internal Affairs if you want to file complaints.
Like I said, I'm gonna go to Internal Affairs. I don't know what it is that, I mean, if you're seeing paperwork that shows I have custody, I don't understand why it is that you would call anybody.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
Well,
let me ask
you're
you
the
something.
one that brought the writ of
Does
attachment,
anybody else
right?
have orders for the child?
What do you mean?
Does anybody else have orders for custodial rights to the child besides myself?
Well, no, but she's had the
No.
child since
Okay, so
she was
no.
5 days old.
Because she took the child. She took
I
off
don't
with
know
my,
that. I don't know
you
that.
don't know that, exactly. So
Yeah.
right now you're interfering
So-
with child custody.
I don't know that, and.
You don't know
you
that,
can't
and
tell
that's
me,
not-
so I
that's
can't go
not
with
your
word,
business
and
because
if
that's
you-
all
I can't
handled
go
through the
with your
courts.
word, and I can't go with her word. She does have possession of the child.
Because
This
she
moment.
illegally took
And
the baby.
she's had possession of the child since she was 5 days old.
I've hired an investigator to find her. Do you not understand that? I could not
It-
find her.
It
I've
was
gone the
easy-
civil route.
It was so easy to find because not only did you give me her address, I was able to locate
Yeah, and
all
give
her
her
phone
telephone number, and she wouldn't
numbers.
answer. When I called, she's
I
got me
didn't
blocked
even
on
have to
social
call
media.
her. She answered the door as soon as I showed up. No
But nobody else,
confrontation,
so
nothing,
nobody else
nothing.
has rights but me, but I still can't have the child. Because why? Again?
She has possession of the child.
She has possession illegally. She doesn't even have custody of the child.
I will
I
be
have
here
sole
for-
conservatorship
I
of
will
the
be here for a
child.
few more moments. If you would like to go to Internal Affairs and file whatever you have to do, you're more than welcome. I'm not going to stop you.
You guys are ridiculous. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You guys have done nothing but give
Don't
me a
leave.
hassle to get,
No, no.
get custody of my
No,
own
it's not a
child.
hassle. It's not
You're
a hassle.
interfering with the penal code 25.03 and me getting custody of my child.
Just a moment.
Interference with child
you can
custody.
stay here,
And I will go
I'll
file
meet
a
you
report
here.
with Internal
In
Affairs.
Internal
Thank you.
Affairs.
Let's go over here so we can have a little privacy.
Grab my paper, Stanley, please.
Okay, Ms. Monroe, I don't know, did Detective Dominguez talk to you about what's going on right now?
Yeah, he explained to me that they picked up the child, and then he called the lawyer, and the lawyer told him to wait off on it so she could do something with the court. So he gave her whatever time that she needed in order for her to do whatever she did with the courts, and that's an interference with child custody. So he didn't call me and tell me he had the child. He didn't, I mean, I have the sole custody of the child, so I don't understand why I never got a phone call if he already had the child in placement. This is something that's been going on for the last week.
Right, okay. Well, first of all, Ms. Monroe, I'm Sergeant Paso, I'm the supervisor there. Detective Dominguez is supervisor. So all the paperwork and everything that went on, we've already reviewed it with the county attorney as far as whether or not the writ was actually executed or not. But we have the court order dissolving
Yes,
the writ.
dissolving the writ.
Right.
Yes, but I still have custody of the child. she's still my child. She has no rights to her. She has no orders for her. She has nothing for her, but you guys left her in a position, in her possession, when I have rights to her. So I'm trying to understand, okay, fine, execute the writ, fine, but I still need to get the child. She has no rights to her. I'm not understanding what the big deal is.
Okay. Well, like I said, I reviewed it with the county attorney. We went over everything, and what he advised us is the writ was not executed, so to leave the child where she's at for now, pending this hearing.
The writ was not executed, but why?
I haven't turned the child over to you.
But you got a hold of the lady who had the child.
Yeah, but after I did that, I was still running my investigation. I hadn't finished with you yet. That's why you didn't receive a call, because I was still interviewing.
Okay, but you took my paperwork and said that you were going to execute the writ.
Well, we were going to execute the writ.
Which is what you did. You guys went to her house and got the baby,
yes,
correct?
We picked up the child, but I picked up the mom because there was a lot of confusion with paperwork from Bexar County. I needed to still look into it and call people, especially people in Bexar County.
You guys have been doing this for the last week. There's been an information report done. Why was this, why is this something that's
It's an
a holdup?
information report, and we didn't have a writ of execution at the time.
It was a writ of, it was an order for
An issuance of a writ, yes.
Which is different. Okay,
So
that-
you went and knocked on the lady's door. You told her that I have custody and I was there to execute a writ, but you never executed a writ.
We didn't execute it.
Okay, so then you told her I have custody.
When I execute this writ is when I turn the child over.
Yes,
That's when it's executed.
but you told her I have custody and,
I didn't tell her that you have custody. I said, I have a writ of execution that we need to look into a reference to the child that we have.
okay, but
But-
she knows that I have custody of this child. You've seen it on a court.
No, I don't know about that. I don't know.
You sat there and you told me that you sat there and said you seen it on yourself, what happened in that courtroom.
They didn't say anything about custody. The only thing was reference to the.
Were you not,
attachment.
okay, did you not state that you saw what happened in the courtroom?
I was sitting next to her, but I didn't hear anything other than the writ was squashed. and they
Okay,
were
so you
sitting
heard
in the
on the Zoom that the writ was squashed, but you didn't hear that I had custody.
No, they didn't say anything about you having custody either.
My lawyer stated she told them that I had
Your lawyer is
custody.
telling them, but not the court. Your lawyer is telling them it's way different.
Okay, so
The
you
judge is not
didn't,
saying-
regardless, you
And
didn't
so this is the
execute.
reason why you have a hearing on Wednesday. So this is. gonna
This
be
case is
sorted out.
closed.
It's not
This
closed.
case is closed. They're trying to come in and intervene on this case. This
There's a
case has
hearing-
been
there's a
closed.
hearing on
I've
Wednesday.
gotten custody of this child. I am sole conservator of this child, and I'm not understanding
What's your
why I
case-
can't get possession
What's
of
your
her.
case number there?
This is my case number right here.
What's this case number?
8006.
There's a hearing on Wednesday for this case.
To be reopened. It's not been reopened
It's not
yet.
gonna be reopened.
It's an intervening on a case on Wednesday.
But regardless.
I can show you the paperwork that I have.
Regardless, ma'am, there's this writ now.
And if you don't want to execute the writ, that you didn't execute the writ, fine. But it doesn't change the fact that I have custody of this child.
Well, you would have to determine that with the courts, not me. I'm not the judge.
But it doesn't change the fact that I have custody of this child.
Well, you would have to determine that with the courts, not me. I'm not the judge. I'm not the jury.
Is it not your guys' duty to follow the law? Are you familiar with the Penal Code 25.03?
Yes, we follow the law.
Familiar with it.
Are you familiar with it? So you're familiar with the interference with the child custody, which is exactly what's going on right now. Because I have custody of the child, I've had a lawyer interfere, and I've also had this gentleman interfere as well. Because I have custody, you guys have the custody papers, you see the custody papers. She has no orders, which you've stated to me earlier that she does not have any orders on file. So why does she have the child?
She has possession of the child. right
She
now.
has possession of the child because you gave her back possession of the child.
And on Wednesday, I never took away possession of the child. So on Wednesday, you have. a
So,
hearing.
okay, then if that's the case, then I need to file a missing persons report.
The child's.
I don't know where the baby's at.
I have it, and I can attest to that.
Okay, well, I need to file an offense report
For what?
for this gentleman right here interfering with child custody.
I already told you.
And
that.
I'd also like to, well, I need information. I need to know when he called the office, or when he called whoever he called to hold off on this writ. He had the child in possession, and he still went back and didn't do anything about executing the writ. You could have went and executed that writ right then and there. It doesn't matter what she tells you.
There was too much paperwork. I needed to get a hold of the attorney from
The
Clark
paperwork
County.
that you need is right here.
No,
Okay. But, I'll tell you what, Ms. Moran. Like I said, I reviewed this with the county attorney, not Detective Dominguez, I did. So, all the paperwork I did, so on his recommendation, this is the way we're gonna proceed. Now, you may not be satisfied with it. I mean, the cause itself is the same cause.
It's not only me that's gonna be dissatisfied with it.
Well,
This is something that needed to be handled correctly, and you guys handled it improperly.
Well, I'll tell you what-
Your entire department.
what I'm gonna do, Ms. Monroe, is I'm gonna walk you over to our internal affairs section to make a complaint over there. I will talk to them, I will get them every bit of paperwork I have, please, anything that you have. And what will happen is after this hearing, if they come and say no, then they will issue another writ and we'll go and pick her up. Okay? So, I mean, I cannot go, this was signed out of that same court, okay? So if you want, let's walk over there, let me speak to the supervisor over there. I will deal with the issues over here on a separate end, but right now, at this point, here's what I've been advised to do, okay? And at this point, that's what I gotta do. Okay, so if you wanna walk over with me, I'll walk over there, I'll speak with the supervisor over there right now, and then we'll move forward on this. And like I said, as of right now, this is the next hearing subsequent to this cause. Nullifying the writ, taking.
Okay, the writ's fine, whatever. Does that notify you that she has custody? Do you guys have any orders saying that she has custody of the child?
It's not always the case, especially with child. The cases are not all the same. I mean, just because you have a paper that says you have custody of.
So I just went a year with my lawyer, paid thousands of dollars to go the civil route and do this right,
the one that
for
you
you to
fired.
tell me that I can't do anything to get my child?
The attorney that you fired?
Oh, I'm sorry, how do you know that I fired her?
Because I
You
was-
weren't there in the courtroom, were you?
I heard.
Oh, you heard the court, okay, so you heard
her.
you heard the hearing.
Her saying, I
You
have to
heard the
release- I
hearing,
have
you've
to
already
get her-
stated you watched it.
Hold on. Just go ahead and go back to the office. Ms. Monroe, let's go.